Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, Shogun, and this is yet another Should You Pull video where we're going to be going over the new ML Iseria, and they dropped some stuff on us today. Let's talk. Let's see.
There was a time I was known as the Knight of White Flowers, the Keeper of Oaths. But now I am cursed.
Edgy. So edgy.
My limit.
Briar Witch Iseria. This S3 is so sick, dude. I'm so Dark Ranger. First off, I'm really loving this aesthetic. This is the feel that I have after rolling Mystics, which I'm gonna need to get more for this unit. Oof. But let's get into what she does. A famine had overtaken the kingdom. The High Priestess had attributed this to the Dark Witch. So this is a classic case of you became that which you defeated through a curse. Very oofs backstory. Definitely, so she tries to kill herself, but she can't. So scar on her chest is when she tried to commit unalive, and didn't. So I really do like this aesthetic. We've gotten a lot of goth, like, edgy units lately, so I'm assuming like the next one is gonna be probably less edgy. We've gotten a lot of dark stuff lately, so I would imagine that, yeah, the next ones are going to probably be a little less edgy. Although edgy sells. I mean, look at that. That is right there is just real good. Sad backstory for her. Feels bad. So you kill the witch, everybody hates you, you become the witch. Also, look at this Mad Lad dev account that has the plus 15 ML Leo on it. Buff Swen. So she's just waiting for death. Okay, so let's take a look at her kit. 1182 attack, 5299 health, 114 speed. Not bad. 115 is pretty good. 114 is not bad. The defense 571 is not bad. She does come with a decent amount of effectiveness in her kit as well, based on the critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and double attack chance. Now, the interesting thing here is that she has the attack imprint for everybody, but also has self-attack imprint as well. So you can either build her to help out everybody on the team, or you can give her that extra little bit of attack that you might need, which you're probably going to want as much attack on her as possible, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. The 1182 is actually a pretty decently high attack compared to other rangers as well. So she's going to be a much more offensive ranger. And much like everybody predicted, you put out a problem, which is our Violet, and then you sell them a cure. Now, Witch's Curse, this is her S2. This is going to increase her hit chance by 25%. This is going to go up another 10%. And a successful attack inflicts additional damage to the enemy. Additional damage increases proportional to the caster's attack. Where have we heard that one before? Oh, that's right. Rengar's Drink and Herberus Tooth. Fantastic. It's going to be interesting to see if it scales the same as that. So we are going to have to wait until they put out the modifiers, the scaling along with the caster's attack. But one of the things that was brought up in the live stream this morning is that, well, this is going to work alongside of Rengar's Drink, so you can stack both of those on there and probably do ridiculous amounts of damage. Now, 25% chance, you might be thinking, but well, that's not that great because, you know, our Violet has a 50% chance. Well, it goes up to 35%. But one of the things to note here, right, is that this will overcome a Moonlight Dreamblade base. Now, let's say they add in a Fat Cat. Not that Fat Cat gets seen that much these days. A little bit in Arena, I think, sometimes. I see him every once in a while. This is going to completely bypass a Fat Cat plus Moonlight Dreamblade. Also, you only have, with a Dreamblade 50, 60, 70, minus 35 math, 35% chance on the R Violet, who's running just a Moonlight Dreamblade. This is also going to really heavily cut into like a MRSA. So while it's not a perfect counter to R Violet, it is a good counter to anybody running a Moonlight Dreamblade, like a K-Ron. Not that you see too many K-Rons running Moonlight Dreamblade, because typically they're going to run Knife or Basket or something along those lines, but this is going to help in those situations. The other nice thing here is, let's say you're not going against anybody with evasion. The increased hit chance doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, because let's say you get hit with blind, right? This is going to help out with blind. And if nothing else, even if you don't have blind, you don't have evasion, nothing along those lines, this is literally a Rengar's drink. And plus Herber's Tooth, because her S1 is single target. So this is the combination of both into one ability. Just an artifact you can just negate if you wanted to. So that's huge. That's huge. And one of the things that I like about this is that while it is a counter, it is a direct counter to a certain type of unit, it also has the added benefit of, well, if you don't bring that, it also is still going to help out. Now let's take a look at her S3, and this is going to be a really big one as well. So you're going to have 4-turn cooldown when it's maxed out. Soul Burn for 10 is going to increase damage dealt, which is really good, because 10 souls is typically pretty easy to come by, right? So this is going to attack all enemies with a Cursed Thorn Bush, dispelling all buffs with a 60% chance each to decrease attack and make them unable to be buffed for 2 turns. This is going to go up to, what, 85% chance, 60, 70, 85% chance right there. So this is going to be real big. AoE attack. You're going to have the passive proc. If you're running Drink, you're going to have the Drink proc. So that's going to be a lot of damage. Not only that, but this is going to help against people like K-Ron, right? You're going to be stripping all your buffs, and this strips beforehand as well, right? So this is going to strip, decrease attack, unbuffable. Now, a lot of people I don't see a lot of people talk about decreased attack. Decreased attack is real big in helping mitigate damage, right? So if you're a K-Ron, you get hit with can't be buffed and decreased attack, well, you're deado. Just gone, and this is going to hit everybody, right? And the damage is pretty decent, so I think they show it here in a second. And yeah, like I said, if you're stacking this with Drink and you have a good amount of attack, okay, so this is her with attack buff, because, well, as you can see, she's very slow. So typically, I don't know that, I mean, obviously in like Arena or Clave teams, obviously you can use this, right? Not only that, but it's going to just dispel all buffs, right? So you are not going to be impeded by this FCC shield at all. The 35% means that if that K-Ron has a Dream Blade and that Fat Cat's there, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Just get out of here with that stuff. And because Oxlots is pushing her forward, right, you're going to have the attack buff. You're going to have more attacks, so it's going to scale your S2 better. If you are running a Drink, it's going to scale your Drink better. It's going to be really big. So you can assume that this is built very high damage, right? Personally, I'm probably not going to build it that way. But here's the S3, right? So you do what your S3. I like the rain stuff like that, but I mean, that does a lot of damage. Like, that does a very good amount of damage. Like, you're doing, what, 15k here to the FCC. You did 8,400 to the Fat Cat. That's a really fat cat. You did 12k. Why is that FCC take so much? Oh, because she's probably got Arya, so she's getting the damage share from everybody else. But you did quite a bit of damage here. You put the unbuffable, and because you put the unbuffable on before K-Ron's immortality triggers, poof. Well, actually, so that is on. Then you get the additional damage. Now, it did look like that damage from her passive is in there, so your drink wouldn't proc until after all of the combat's over. So it looks like that damage stacks on top of your ability. So if you, let's say you didn't kill an ML Ken, right, you'd still get the counter, and then the Rengar's drink would proc. But that's going to be a lot of damage if you push her forward, if you're cleaving with her with drink as well. I mean, I don't know what the stats are on here. I kind of wish that they would show what the stats are that they're showing alongside of the gameplay, so that way you have a benchmark, right? You can go, oh, okay, well, that's what I would do if I had 4k attack and 300 crit damage or something like that. Now I know it's obviously dev account, so they can use like whatever stats they want on whatever armor, but yeah, still I think that that's really big. Now her S1, very similar to her previous S1 without the soul burn here, so throws swords at enemies. It's going to have a 75% chance to decrease defense for 1 turn. Now 1 turn defense break are all right. You know, Alencia has one obviously, but she also can S1 into S2. Now this will probably be good for, like, let's say, you know, follow up, right? You have somebody else coming in right afterwards and you just need them to do the extra little bit of damage. Personally, you know, I'm gonna say that you want to focus on the S3 if you're gonna skill her up, because usually 25% chance is going to be more hit chance than you need against most things, especially if you're just using her for general purposes. Stacking that S3 and getting that S3 damage, just dunking on things, is going to be probably your best bet. And honestly, if you're not using her to like hard counter like evasion, which, I mean, there's not too much out there, like, you know, our Violet, Moonlight Dreamblade base, you're going to bypass Moonlight Dreamblade, right? So if you're not too worried about our Violet, you're just going to ban him out, whatever. S3 then S1 for the damage. I do think that just as a straight up damage dealer, she's got huge potential. It's going to take a little bit before we find out the modifiers, obviously, but I do think that that's going to be a really big thing. So not having the soul burn to potentially make the defense break 2 turns, I think hurts her a little bit, but you do have the soul burn on the S3, which they didn't soul burn that S3, right? No, they didn't. They just pushed her, and then because I'd like to see what the soul burn levels of damage are on that, because like I said, 10 souls is really not super hard to get, especially if you're going to run her with cleave, right? Just poof everything. Especially too, you're stripping the debuffs, you're going to have that proc plus Rengar's. I think that is just going to go through and just destroy everything. It's going to be pretty nutty, because I mean, even just that damage right there, without Rengar's, no soul burn, I think that was pretty huge, and it probably won't be unreasonable numbers to get either. So I think that, yeah, just not having the S1 2-turn defense break is kind of detrimental, but like I said, you do have the chance to follow up on that, right?
이세리아는 명중을 올려 자신의 공격이 빗나갈 확률을 줄이고 추가 피해로 큰 피해를 입힐 수 있는 영웅입니다. 재앙을 불러오는 가시덤불의 마녀, 잿빛 숲의 이세리아는 8월 6일부터.
So this is going to be the next unit in the Mystic rotation. I think that it is going to be very strong, right? And you know, it's definitely a good pickup. There was a lot of bait in between this. Now, I think that it's going to be interesting to see how people run her, right? Because she's not really like a Seaside Belle. You can't just run her super thick, super high attack and just stick her in there and then she just counter attacks everything, right? So a speed crit team, a speed crit build, mostly focusing on attack. She's going to be a good candidate for attack main stat next, just because you are going to want to stack that attack as high as possible for that extra bit of damage. If you do have a Rengar's drink, pushing it maybe over to her is really good. Also potentially like a sachet would be really good for kills to push everything forward. Now you could run that additionally. Now if you you know, were blessed with 2 Rengar's Rengar's drinks and they're all plus 30 and you're a super big whale, why are you watching this in the first place? Because you already know what you're going to run with her. But I do think that she needs to be kind of a mid-speed unit type of deal, and I think that you're probably like a 200, 210. You might want to actually run her like after their buffs, right? After the DN buffs, after the crowd defense buff, after all of that, so that you do get that strip everything, hit them with the unbuffable afterwards. You can potentially use her as like an opener as well. To 114 speed's not a slouch by any means. You can get that pretty quick, like a Flitica or Cerise, something like that. Although there's no real pushback, there's nothing like that. But the decreased attack and the unbuffable is really strong, as well as stripping all of their buffs, meaning that if they don't have any sort of cleanse right out the gate, that attack down is going to cripple them real hard. But I personally don't think that having her as an opener is really doesn't take advantage of her kit as well, like with the S2. So I do think that having her kind of slow, very semi-beefy with like a lot of attack and just enough critical hit chance. I don't think you're going to need to stack critical hit damage on her at all. I think that going in favor mostly with attack is going to benefit you more in the long run, just because of the S2, and if you do use Rengar's drink on her, double stacking that is going to be real big. The other thing too is it'll be interesting to see if the damage from her S2 works like Rengar's drink and bypassing certain amounts of defense as well, right? Because Herberus Tooth and Rengar's drink bypass percentages of defense. I think it's 70%. Yeah, I think it's 70%. But I do think that that's kind of how you're going to build her. She's going to be really interesting. She's going to be really high damage. Like I said, I want to wait until I see the modifiers, but just from what I saw right here, that's really big. The ability to take care of Chaerons with no elemental disadvantage, because she's neutral, is going to be real big. Chaerons suck. Unable to unbuffable is real big, because there is a huge buff meta with like DN, the defense buff from Crow, Valencia, what have you, Vivian's, stuff like that. So strip anti-buff is going to be really big to help counter that. And then you have, on the flip side, you have Yufine, who's going to help with cleanses and stuff along those lines. So do I think that she's a must pull? I think that if you are torn between her and Arbiter Vildred is still obviously the best pull out of the two, just because he is very flexible. However, I think that this unit is going to be very strong as well. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how she plays out. Do I think that she's a mole priority? For me personally, not. But if you are pulling for waifu reasons, well, I mean, it's a pretty good goth waifu, right? Yeah. Plus, she's got a bad backstory, so you want to give her some head pats and stuff like that as well. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. What do you guys think about her? I think that, because we've had so many edgy Moonlights, I think that the next couple will probably be light units. They'll be a little bit less edgy, but then again, edgy sells. So, was hoping for ML Crow, but I guess my Crow dupes will have to just sit there longer. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. As always, if you do like the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I would appreciate it, but you don't have to. Leave me a comment down below. You commenting, liking, sharing this out lets YouTube know that I am doing a pretty okay job, and helps me overcome the YouTube algorithm, which has been oppressing me for a long time. If you do want to help out too, I do have a Patreon down below. Get some one-on-one time with me, coaching on your account, things like that. And that always goes to help with giveaways, helps run the channel, things like that. But just comment down below. Let me know. Do you even have mystics left for her, or did Arby take everything? The bait has been strong lately. They must be hitting earnings reports soon. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy, homies. Peace.